All right, what's going on, Tycoon? Super excited for today's video, okay? Um, we are going to be looking at ticker symbol Skillz, okay? SKLZ. Before we do that, I'm going to dive into some things real quick, okay? Just to, give you guys a little bit of insight, all right, as far as like, why people invest in this company and also how the news, can really be a catalyst and try to push the narrative that they want, okay? Because market makers and, these people working at these hedge funds, these billionaires, they're friends with a lot of these news people. So, a lot of times they can, tell people, hey, well, here's some good news you can put out. And meanwhile, they're looking for it to to go up based off that good news coming out, and then they can sell their position and stuff like that. All right, so this came out in May. So I want you guys to see when it came out. It came out May 17th. Okay. So and it was basically saying esports gaming platform Skillz hooks users even more than Netflix and Facebook, which it was. It was really, really good. Okay. It was basically saying the company hosts about 2 million tournaments featuring online games of solitaire, mahjong, and basically a number of games. All right. The esports market is going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry. The CEO is looking for it to double by 2025, and they are basically looking to just get a slice of that pie. Okay. Um, let's see here. In 2018, the mobile gaming market grew to $63 billion in revenue. All right. Mobile gaming is getting closer to overtaking both console and PC platforms. All right. And so that's, just like playing on your tablet and your phone, that is being a really, really big thing. Okay. Newzoo estimates more than 50% market share between tablet and phone-based games in 2020 and 2021, and over $90 billion in annual revenue. And they project to exceed 1.6 billion in revenue by 2021. All right. Esports teams are now raising their own venture capital too, with one team worth $310 million and a total of 9 esport teams worldwide worth at least 100 million. So the esports is, one of the fastest growing sports, and it's really taking over, just untapped market. Okay. And the pandemic really helped that, like the most prolific media environment ever. Back in November, Skillz revealed that collectively players on the platform earn on average over $675,000 in daily prizes. Okay. So that's what it is people basically, play to get in these tournaments, and then, they get prizes if they win. Okay. So it's in a sense almost like gambling. And this is kind of like a loophole for them to be a legal gambling company, but marketed as esports. Okay. They have some partnerships with the NFL and stuff like that, but let's look real quick. Okay. So May 17th is when that article came out. So that is this day right here. Okay. So that's the 17th. So if you look from the 17th, okay, to the end of the month, it went up 58% in 16 days. Okay. So right when this news article come out. All right. Now here, all right, we have an article by the Motley Fool, came out in the beginning of October, and it says, here's why Skillz could continue shedding users. So this one was a bullish article by CNBC in, May, in May, and then in June or in October, we have a bearish article by the Motley Fool on Skillz. Okay, basically, the thing that this was bragging about the monthly active users, this article is saying that it's going to continue shedding users, and it's just a bearish article going over how the growth streak ended, the reopening of economies is a headwind, advertising prices are increasing, reducing the effectiveness of marketing for Skillz. And, all of this is expected. Nobody expected the pandemic, and then that drove a lot of these things up. A lot of the prices and valuations and revenue and earning for a lot of these, pandemic sympathy plays, basically. And they benefited off it really well. And if you thought that they were going to be able to keep up projections like that forever, then I don't know what you got going on. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the chart, because I've been breaking down this chart really well for you guys, and it's playing out really well. Okay. So when I first started covering it, I gave all of these support levels. We'll zoom in a little bit to more what the price has been a little bit more recently. But at the time, we were looking to have a breakout level above 1428. Our resistance was going to be 1178, and then our all-time lows at the time were 928. Okay, so I was covering it basically when we were like right around here. I think we were just below is when I posted the first video, and I said, we have this descending wedge pattern. Look for a breakout. We had a little bit of a false breakout here, kind of a retest, and we never really broke out. Okay, so we never got past our breakout zone. All right, so that pattern was a dud. But what I did was I charted levels even lower than the all-time lows, because at the time that was the all-time lows. But we fell below there. All right, we found support in the middle between the old all-time lows and the support level at 698. Okay, and then we came back down, and we hit resistance at that 1178. Had a little, went above it a little bit, and we had a bearish channel going on, and we just broke out of that bearish channel. Skillz had an amazing day. The overall market is up very well. All right, it was a really good day. Especially pre-market for a lot of things. But when things run up like this pre-market, the thing you need to be cautious of, all right, is that, basically we're going to have a big gap now. All right, so there's going to be this big gap down from $8.08 down to $8.50, and it's currently at 940. You know what I mean? So that's not too much of a dramatic. It's about $1 drop, but relative to the price of the stock, that's going to be, let's see what that drop is going to be. About an 8% drop. No, I'm sorry, 3. Okay, so worst case scenario, no, actually we're up here. Hold on. Yeah, so about a 9. So we could drop about 8 to 9.5% on Skillz here in the future. All right, because the trend is your friend. This thing has been on a downtrend. It's tried to break out a couple times, but it hasn't really done that. All right, we're breaking out of this bearish channel right now, but because we have let me remove this strong. Okay, but because we have this gap down here, this could just be a false breakout and we could come back down. All right, now I'm very bullish on Skillz. The oval that I just erased was basically, I'll draw it for you guys again. If you are a long-term investor on Skillz, all right, on a company that is a leader in the mobile gaming platform, or the mobile gaming, esports sector, all right, that previously in this year had more monthly active users than both Netflix and Facebook, all right, but due to, a little bit of pandemic, reopening and things like that, their monthly active users aren't increasing, as they previously were. Okay, it's slowing down a little bit, which that's fine, and that is why this, price could be dropping. Okay, because earnings came out, and you know what, guidance isn't looking too good, and guidance is just like the future. All right, but that's to try to scare you away. All right, if we're talking about the market cap doubling in 5 years, the projected revenue for that sector, and they're going to be a leader in that sector, then you should expect this company, to do very well in the future. All right, so what I did when I first covered Skillz was I gave you guys a long-term buy zone. All right, and that basically means hold these positions, all right, for at least a year, or up to 5 years, however long you want to hold it. But you typically hold these for at least up to a year before selling, either for a loss, if you want to reevaluate, and maybe after this past year of earnings, the company has just gone kaput, and they may be going bankrupt, for instance, or something like that, right? Let's say something like that happens. Then you could reevaluate whether you want to hold your position a little bit more and add to it, because you think overall, in 5 years it'll be good and it's just having a bad year, or you know, you can cut it loose and look for a different investment to make a long-term investment on. All right. But I do think that you will be able to buy it between $9.28. All right. And I mean, at the very lowest it would go would be 234, in my opinion. But I will give you all the support levels below 928. Okay. So it's going to be 928, 698, 468 and 234. Okay. I do think that there's a slight possibility we trade within that range. All right. We did retest it. You know, this long-term buy zone was originally over here. All right. Which is why, you know, this drawing is kind of over here, because this drawing was originally over here. And I was saying, hey, we could be dipping down into these levels. So if you're long term on this, you know, maybe add a little bit of your position here, a little bit of your position here at each one of these support levels in case we do, you know, break through the all-time lows at the time, which were 928, and head lower. You know, I went ahead and charted some key support levels, and you know, we haven't even come down all the way to it yet, but it's just good to have this stuff charted, because even though something has all-time lows or all-time highs, we have techniques in the Options Trading Tycoons Discord that basically enable you to, you know, figure out price levels, support and resistance levels for a stock or a crypto at a price that it hasn't reached yet. Okay, whether that's below, whether it hasn't gone that low before, or whether it hasn't gone that high before. The technique is valid for both. All right. So if you guys want a video on how I do that and how I make those support and resistance levels for price targets that, you know, the asset hasn't hit yet, whether it's a stock or a crypto, let me know in the comments below. And if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. That'll really help me out. I just started the channel, you know, but like a couple months ago. All right. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.